Hey, this is Cameron Hoffman. You're listening to the Unbelievers Podcast.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were eating them inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 pounds. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan?
I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything. You know, just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's full war and we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien baby, and we cover it right here. Okay.
Okay.
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
There are many strange occurrences that are attributed to UFO activity and extraterrestrials. Everything from human abduction to counter-mutilation to making greasy pancakes have been attributed to interstellar intruders. But what are they doing in the wheat fields of England? Tonight, the Unbelievers Podcast returns for the new year with a tale of myth and mystery from the English countryside, a phenomena that has baffled researchers, inspired artists, and aggravated farmers for the last 5 decades. What is leaving intricate symmetrical shapes in perfectly good wheat fields? Are they messages for humanity from our space brothers? Is it just hoaxes or a natural event? Could animals be the cause of this incident? Find out now as we kick off 2021 with the confusing and controversial world of crop circles. Right here on the program, we continue to learn to unlearn everything you know. Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast. I'm your host, Rus Ryan, and joining me as always is my co-host, Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Hello.
And our soundboard engineer and producer, Rob Okey.
Is it the keyboard elf? Is a cookie elf?
What's up, guys? Happy 2021, guys. What's going on?
2021 is what's going on.
I know. Welcome back. We've been on break for a while. Man, did you guys have a relaxing time?
Yeah, mostly. I think a lot of it was just kind of letting all the dust settle from the end of 2020 and trying my best to just start fresh and not let that shit get tracked in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this year. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of busy this whole time. I've been working on a lot of podcasts.
That's
but
good.
I'm happy to be back working on this podcast right now. But yeah, no, I mean, it's been good, man. I've been good. It's 2021 is starting off pretty good, so I got no complaints.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. It's a whole new year for the Unbelievers Podcast, and that's exciting. Yes.
Woo.
So let's get into it now. And hey, 12-year-old Rusin, what's the topic going to be for this week?
This week's topic is crop circles.
Oh, crop circles. Fascinating. Let's
Did
do
you
it.
see this week topic?
What are they? Why are they? What do they mean? What are they? Why are they? What do they mean?
Crop Circle song. That's from Radar Recording. That's a great song, and we may just have to do a Twitch stream just to watch that over and over. That was a great video. You gotta check it out.
Cool.
I'm just glad that they asked why are they?
What are they? Why are they? Those are the questions to ask about crop circles.
Those are the questions.
Perfect.
Those are the same ones I have going this. And yes, as you heard my younger self state earlier, this week's topic is indeed crop circles. If you're confused, that clip comes from a found cassette tape of my 12-year-old self trying to host a paranormal show. And the topic was crop circles.
Yeah.
And so now we're doing it here in the future.
Legit, like real life found footage material from Russ's childhood.
Yeah. Check it out on Patreon. It's good
Lost
stuff.
media.
But found now. But I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this strange and often controversial phenomenon of large circles and designs that appear mysteriously in fields around the world. And many think that they are created by extraterrestrials or shit or something. And you guys have seen crop circles before, of course, right?
Not in person.
Yeah,
but yes.
I mean, yeah, they're like one of the most classic images for paranormal lovers. I think this is like one of the first things that you learn
beautiful.
about when you're a kid.
Sure.
Yeah,
Crop
right?
circles. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's accurate.
Book covers and Led Zeppelin albums. But while this is mostly a modern occurrence, let's get into the history of these anomalous shapes that have been appearing in the fields. The first depiction of crop circles comes from a 1678 news pamphlet titled The Mowing Devil, or Strange News out of Hertfordshire.
1678, you said?
1678. There's a
damn.
pamphlet, and it tells about a farmer who, refusing to pay the price demanded by a laborer to mow his field, he swore he would rather the devil mowed it instead. And according to this great pamphlet, that night his field appeared to be in flame. The next morning, the field was found to be perfectly mowed, that no mortal man was able to do the like.
Okay.
So, and it has like an illustration of what looks like a crop circle. Devil mowers. Yeah, maybe the devil's behind all this.
That makes sense.
And you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to ask him to do it.
You just flatter his ego enough and he will gladly oblige and show off that, look how good I can mow your shit.
All right, so we got the devil already, but another early account comes from an 1880 letter to the editor of Nature by amateur scientist John Rand Capron. He describes how a recent storm had created several circles of flattened crops in a field. So weather could be the cause of this incident, or the devil.
Yeah.
Or monkeys.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love these sort of topics, especially when you pick these ones, because it's like, this is one of the ones where we can't just make fun of it. It's not like obviously like
I can
some baloney going on here, but it's also like we can't say it's 100% from aliens or it's 100% supernatural, because it could just be like, it reminds me of those rocks, like that video we saw on the stream of those rocks that move around in the desert.
Yeah,
like how the hell does that the wind? Like what? But yeah, I guess it could be something similarly explained is what I'm saying.
Well, that's really, so that was in 1880. And then for a long time, nothing happened. The fields were just left in peace until 1966 in Tully, Queensland, Australia, in the famous case of the Tully saucer nest, when a farmer said he witnessed a saucer-shaped craft rise 30 to 40 feet from a swamp and then fly away.
Whoa, okay.
On investigating, he found a nearly circular area 32 feet long by 25 feet wide where the grass was flattened in clockwise curves to water level with the circle, and the reeds had been uprooted from the mud.
Oh.
This is Australia. They have saucer nests.
Whoa,
Weird.
okay, I never heard of this one.
Weeds uprooted from the mud from a
Yeah,
UFO.
that's different.
It seems.
Yeah, we're used to hearing about the flattening down and just like stomping around in general on these things, and it was uprooted in a design?
Yeah, in a circle. And it was like,
Wow.
yes, this was a saucer nest.
All right, that's creepy.
And here's the rest of it. The local police officer, the Royal Australian Air Force, and the University of Queensland concluded that it was most probably caused by natural causes like a downdraft, a willy-willy, or a water spout. And in 1973...
A willy-willy?
Yeah, you guys aren't familiar with a willy-willy?
No.
Never heard of a willy-willy before.
It's an Australian dust devil. Of course, everyone knows willies.
I have a willy-willy story. Well, maybe not a willy-willy story, but I have a weird story about a weird cyclone type thing that seemed paranormal. This one time, I was out fishing with my friend in our canoe, and all of a sudden, like, the wind kind of blew by, and I swear to God, this little mini tornado thing, like, right up along the side of the boat, just splashed me in the face. Like, literally went like
water spout.
Yeah, like a little mini water spout, but it was like, it purposely like splashed me in the face. So I think it was like a willy-willy maybe.
Okay. Well, they think this too.
I'd like to think that that's like a river spirit that didn't like you.
Like, get out of here.
And just when they get on the land, we get these amazing things. Well, we'll get saucer nests at least, because in 1973, G.J. Odgers, the director of public relations, Department of Defense, wrote to a journalist that the saucer was probably debris lifted by the causing willy-willy. But this case, this is where the whole connection to UFOs first started. This saucer nest in Australia, the explanation that's simply a willy-willy. I think a lot of ufologists, I think they reacted to that by saying,
I die, you insult me with a lie.
Yes, because People weren't really buying this explanation about the crop circles, but it wasn't until the late 1970s that what we think of as crop circles began to appear throughout the English countryside. And then in the late 1980s, crop circles would hit the big time, garnering a lot of media attention in the UK. They had features in popular UFO magazines, and the biggest exposure, especially for us here in the States, it was explored on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. And that's when you know you've made it in the paranormal, right, guys?
Yay.
Yeah, if you get recognized by Unsolved Mysteries, I think you're officially a paranormal subject. You're a paranormal topic, you're relevant, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah, and this was a lot of people's first exposure to crop circles. This was my first exposure to it. And if Robert Stack was talking about it, I was listening. And now get the first clip ready, because we're going to listen to some of this segment now where Mr. Stack talks about not only crop circles, but other strange circular things found in the English countryside.
Stonehenge, the great megalithic monument in southern England. Stonehenge is only one of hundreds of such monuments scattered throughout Britain. For centuries, these puzzling formations have baffled scientists and laymen alike. But recently, scientists have identified another phenomenon that may relate to the mysterious British monuments: wheat circles.
Wheat circles. See, this is so early on. This is very early on. They hadn't nailed down the marketing yet, but they were, you got to play Soundboard 3. I think it's pretty good.
Wheat circles.
Sounds like it's from a cereal commercial.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
It does sound like it sounds like a very British cereal. I don't know. Yeah, wheat circles.
Wheat circles.
Magical.
Let's hear some more about this, and hopefully he doesn't have to say wheat anymore.
This photograph was taken recently in England. It shows circles in wheat fields. Seems simple enough. But in fact, they are not simple at all. No one knows how these enigmatic circles got there. Molded gently from unbroken stalks of wheat and corn, they may just represent one of the most intriguing unsolved mysteries of the century. Nearly 95% of the circles occur within 30 miles of Stonehenge, and all the rest are near other stone monuments similar to Stonehenge. Are the circles caused by something we can explain, like whirlwinds? Or are they caused by something we cannot even begin to understand?
Yeah, it might not be willy-willy, as our Australian friends say. But the Stonehenge bit, put this more in the paranormal realm, that these things are happening in just this tiny area 30 miles from Stonehenge.
Yeah, Stonehenge, yeah. I love Stonehenge. I think that would be like a fun topic to maybe explore someday a little bit deeper, particularly would be Stonehenge and what it could possibly be. I like that, though. That's interesting. I never really associated Stonehenge with crop circles for some reason.
No, wheat circles.
Wheat
circles. These are early days. These were just ones called wheat circles. And yeah, this is a really compelling unsolved mystery for 1989. So we need to know more. And good thing Robert Stack is about to spit some rapid fire wheat circle facts.
The circles are never cut. They are pressed down in a swirling pattern that runs both clockwise and counterclockwise. The crop is not damaged. It continues to grow and can be harvested normally. Strangely, no unusual footprints or tire tracks leading up to the circles have ever been found. Some circles occur with a smaller satellite circle. Others appear in groups of 3 or 4. Other circles are surrounded by concentric rings. Most amazing of all are the circles with both satellites and rings. Wheat circles.
Yeah, they put the tag at the end, didn't you?
Yeah, it fits too perfectly. But yeah, so the first part is very important there, where he's talking about the crops are not broken. They actually continue growing. There's no tracks going in or out. They're also starting to become more complex, where it's not circles, it's rings and satellites or both. 1989. This is perfect, fodder for the.
So they're sure that it's not like fungus? Because, like we've heard about fairy rings,
I don't think so.
Right?
Fungus? Like a artistic fungus? I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking about those weird mushroom, like the fairy rings that grow out sometimes, the fairy circles?
Yeah, where they grow in like circular patterns because that's how the spores go out and stuff. And like instead of making it like grow extra, like maybe it's the poisonous kind and it's killing the stuff in circles.
Interesting.
Well, I'll say this. They don't really find mushrooms in these, but that definitely is not the craziest thing that they put forward in this, because now we're going to be introduced to author and future champion of the wheat, Colin Andrews, who tells us that crop circles are exploding across the countryside.
We were receiving reports in the order of 2 or 3 a year in the late 70s, 10, 11, 12, 15 or so in the early 80s. Then last year, we saw a dramatic increase, 98 circles in 5 months of last summer. This year, we have now got in southern England 270 formations, and we have fields in which we don't have 5 or 6, but 28 of these circles have appeared in a period of 4 or 5 weeks.
And this was 1989. Do you know how many wheat circles there are now? There's like millions. It has to be.
That's terrifying.
You would think I would have seen one. I got a lot of fields around where I live, but I've never seen a crop circle in any of them before.
Yeah.
Which is like,
I mean,
that's
how
one of
much
the
time do you
reasons why I'm
spend
like,
out in those fields?
Flying your drone around out there. Yeah, get your drones out there. This is just in the Stonehenge area alone he's talking about, where like you look at one field, there's 28, the next one, there's 70 come up the next day. It seems like a big problem. All the wheat is going to be gone.
Terrifying.
Give me that wheat. Stop taking it.
Give me that wheat.
Like, we don't have enough wheat in America, so we need to import it.
Wheat circles.
Most delicious.
Another... Yes, the breakfast of the champion of the wheat here. And another top researcher in this field is a guy named Professor Archibald Roy of Glasgow University. And this professor believes that there are many possible explanations for this mystery.
No one really knows why these circles are appearing. And I think that the interesting thing is that no one theory so far seems to fit the bill. There are quite a number of them. There is the frankly unacceptable one of circles being formed by hundreds of hedgehogs all marching around in circles.
Hedgehogs? Hedgehogs all running around in a perfectly symmetrical circle. Oh, I wish that were true.
I mean, Sonic loves his rings, man.
You're right. His wheat circles. That's what he's doing out there. I would love to see it if it really were hundreds of hedgehogs. Who brought this up?
It would take thousands. It would take thousands, though. They're so small, hedgehogs. They're little tiny
they're
guys.
fast.
And crop circles are huge.
Yeah, sadly, the idea that hedgehogs were the cause of this incident is totally ridiculous. So what other explanation could there possibly be?
Another one is that they are the footpad marks of flying saucers. Another is that they are due to the downdrafts of helicopters, or that they are caused by whirlwinds, or that they are hoaxes by human beings. There are so many of them.
So many, but now we're talking. UFOs are finally entering this conversation. There's so many possibilities so far. Let's work up. So, all right, Drea, we have the devil, right? We have Willy Willy. Okay. We have hundreds of thousands of hedgehogs, as Rus say. You don't like that one?
No, I like the hedgehogs.
Helicopters. I like those too. Maybe the helicopters drop the hedgehogs and they mimic the blade rotation. And they have hoaxers. We've got a lot of possibilities. I think this is why it's so easy to latch onto this. You can be into any of those theories.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it's UFOs, that's like the most simplistic one, because that's just the assumption that they're like UFO burnouts or something. Like the UFO is just like, they just landed there and that's just what happens.
Exactly.
But I don't know. Or there is something more to it. Like if UFOs are like making that with their weaponry or something. Like what do you think the theory is there?
Maybe they're
UFOs,
just tagging,
Rus.
You know?
How is it UFOs? That's the question. Why is it UFOs?
I think at this point, you're just saying UFOs because they're thinking in a sense of these saucer nests. And we know the future is going to get a little more complex. So we'll get into that in when we go to the future a little bit with these. But other than these hedgehogs, this Professor Archibald, he eliminates one other potential culprit, and it's one that might surprise you.
I think that it's very reasonable for a person to say, look, these are hoaxes because they look so artificial. But I don't think that the hoax theory can be held very strongly because there are so many of these circles. Now in 8 or 9 years, they've logged about 700, 250 this year, this summer alone. The amount of time that will have to be spent by a very big team of people making those circles is getting quite enormous. I simply don't see the hoax theory as a very strong contender.
That is a lot of circles to hoax without getting caught since the 70s. And this is the Professor, Drea.
Yeah, it's too many. They would have to have this huge wide network that maybe if they had the internet at that time and they could actually like all organize and coordinate their efforts, then maybe, but that's still insane.
Yeah, and they didn't have that. They didn't have any of that. And it's also like, I don't know, like how do you get that many people to do such a mundane task that like most people aren't really
to give a shit enough to do this?
Yeah. How do you get enough people on board? I mean, obviously like cults and other stuff like that have shown us that like people are susceptible to like influence to get into strange things. But I don't know, like this is a really weird thing to try to assume that there's a ton of people out there doing it. Yeah, it's got to be. Honestly, that's sounding more and more feasible at this point now that the hedgehog.
Willy and hedgehogs are the lead.
Yeah,
the hoaxers are at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty good.
I mean, like the name that they gave us from Australia sounds like, because in the UK the willies it means dicks, and you don't want to imagine that going on.
It sounds like a dance. The willy. It reminds me of the woolly woolly.
The woolly bully.
The woolly bully. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Well, so I guess, I don't know, he's not into hoaxers. And they actually tested this theory by having the military try and create a wheat circle. But it failed to match the real wheat circles that they're studying. And here's the reason why.
We can walk into a circle and very, very quickly determine whether it's hoaxed, that is mechanically made, or it is a naturally created one. When we examine a naturally made circle, the portion of plant that just comes out of the ground must be softened, bent over, and then hardened up again. So not only is the mystery in the circle itself, but what is it that is softening the plant, bending it over, and then hardening up again? This is a real mystery.
Alcohol.
Yeah, it's a sexy mystery too. What's going on? What's softening, bending over, chubbing back up?
What makes them pliable?
Some wheat pervert is out there.
God.
He's getting his jollies. It kind of sounds sick. Yeah, play soundboard 4. I have to ask, is this too dirty for the soundboard?
Must be softened, bent over, and then hardened up again.
No, you're just giving it to these guys.
Okay, I think we've had a lot worse in the soundboard before.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to know how that's going to get used, what context that's going to get used in poll results in the near
I
future.
do want to know. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, if you think that was bad, play soundboard 5.
Bending it over and then hardening up again.
Oh, no.
Oh, goodness.
That's some fodder. Maybe.
I need a...
Raymond's looking for what he needs. Raymond wants to have a new gimmick. There you go. You can use that in your poll results.
Don't encourage him, please.
Well, so hoaxers can't do that. Hoaxers can't bend it over, soften the wheat, and bend it back up again,
Bending
make it hard.
Over and then hardening up again.
No, they can't do that.
Well, they certainly can't harden up. That's what we're
That would
gathering.
take way too long. I don't know. So hoaxers are out, and the case for this being associated with UFO activity is strengthened here by a couple named Pat and Jack Collins, who were driving near Stonehenge and had an experience.
We'd been out for the evening, and on our way back, about 11 o'clock at night, we saw this circle with lights all the way around the edge.
He said, "Cool, look at that." I said, "Good gracious." I said, "Whatever can it be?" And so we said it couldn't be, a flying saucer or anything, because, well, not knowing what one would look like. But, I mean, it was, our feelings that it could have been one.
Yeah. So this happened near Stonehenge. Oh, she's the best. Yeah, I kind of put place number 6. I liked Pat Collins a lot.
I said, "Good gracious." I said, "Whatever can it be?"
Aw, I love her too. I said, "Good gracious."
Yeah, she reminds me of my friend's mom. Like,
I love how they all roll their R's in this neighborhood or this area where they're from.
Yeah, in this area, Stonehenge. That's in the Stonehenge area. Most people roll their R's.
I love the rolling the R thing. I wish I could. I can't do it. I don't know how do you do the rolling the R.
There's no R's in that sentence, though, Rob.
Rob, I don't know. I know it's right when you try to do it, you can't say any R's when you try to start doing it. Yeah. Rob, if I just say my name, Rob.
Okey.
Rob Okey. My ancestors are from Ireland. That's why I can do that, just to let you guys know. It's built into the tongue. Yeah.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Rob.
It's weird. I've actually been watching a lot of this stuff. It seems like mostly Scottish people and people in England are involved with crop circles. There's a lot of Irish stuff in there. I think they stay away from this whole thing. They keep their weight.
You're right.
I was going to say it sounded like they were Scottish, but honestly, I'm not an expert on those accents. But
Yeah,
I
there's
just
a
think
big
that
difference.
definitely that whole area, that whole area has so much going on when it comes to at least the stories of like spirits from nature and fairies and things like that, tricksters.
That's
so
true.
like, I want to believe that it's fairies and hedgehogs joining hands.
Good call, Drea.
But this would be the fairyland out of control. This isn't the cookie elves or whatever Rob was talking about earlier. This is there's so much of this going on at once. And now we've got the UFO sightings. And we all love UFO sightings, especially told by lovely British women. But what does the UFO sighting have to do with the crop circle? Well, the wheat champion, Andrews, will explain.
The same night as they saw this extraordinary clustering of lights over that site, a quintuplet set appeared in a field just a few miles to the east near Alresford, and the same kind of formation was found just a few days later in a very remote spot south of Andover, and the alignment of those two sites took us directly over the top of the Collinses' particular sighting.
All right, so it lined up with their site, and we've got quintuplet wheat circles, twin quintuplet wheat circles, all happening near Stonehenge at the night of a sighting by that very nice, honest-sounding couple.
Yeah, congratulations.
When I hear quintuplet, like, circles, I'm thinking of, like, the Olympic logo, no?
It was just, like, 4... I don't know, wheat circles in just a configuration, but twin sets of them all at the same time while that light thing is going on. It seems hard for hoaxsters to also be able to fake UFOs at the same time.
Do you get the impression they look sort of like maps, like interplanetary maps or something like that? Like,
it's a good theory.
I don't know. There is something to them. There's like something about the symmetrical designs of them. There's something about that, like, the fact that we can't...
I think they might be logos.
We can't recreate it. Like, we can't do it the same exact way. There's something weird about crop circles, but you can't put your finger on it.
Going forward, if we do talk about the ones that they actually can't, the ones without the bending over and the hardening up, I guess that is what determines what a real one is. Because...
bending it over and then hardening up again.
That's a real one. That's when you've got a real one. But another interesting piece of evidence that points to this as being something otherworldly is that the cells inside the bent-over wheat, when viewed through a microscope, have somehow been altered.
Oh, no.
Samples taken from outside the circles had cloudy crystals in an erratic pattern. Plant samples taken from inside the formations had distinctively clearer crystals and a much more deliberate pattern.
I think the discrepancies are caused by some supernatural force which has been applied to that particular part of the ground, which produces these patterns.
We have here a structure of a plant which has changed. Human feet cannot do that. The downwash from a helicopter cannot do that, and nor can a stationary whirlwind. So we're looking here at major clues in the last few months of this year.
Now, Willy can't do that. And they also mention... These same investigators, they talk about they feel an energy field inside the circles, and they set up surveillance cameras, and they don't catch anything. And they almost deposit that it's as if whatever is making these has some kind of intelligence, and that it knows that it's being observed at certain fields. A lot of strangeness surrounding this.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Rob was mentioning about the designs being so kind of intricate and looking very intentional. Like, to me, if they were more erratic, I would think something maybe like radiation or something, if it's going to change the DNA or like the chemical composition, either some kind of poison or radiation.
A sinkhole, yeah. But what would be scattered throughout these fields that are normally producing, perfectly healthy wheat? In I don't know.
What's that? Monsanto. That's.
Oh, it could.
Oh, this is some
way back when.
This is a byproduct of that.
This could be golden rice related. That's actually a really good point, Drea. I didn't even think of that, but we should
interview me about golden rice.
Interview me about wheat circles soon.
Interview me about golden wheat, please. Actually,
there you go.
In this situation, yeah.
So I don't know, but this Unsolved Mysteries. If you had actually watched this at the time, you might say that they presented a kind of a compelling case that these wheat circles are something unexplained and possibly some kind of paranormal phenomenon. But if you watch till the very end, they give a quick update. It's only text, because just before this episode aired, 2 men would come forward and make all of these professors and researchers look foolish. So here is the news story.
Over the years, the suggestions as to how the circles get there have been getting, cornier.
Could it be the work of UFOs or magnetic forces or little green men? Or was it the Earth appealing for man's help to save the planet? Today, the world's press gathered in anticipation to hear the answer. At long last, there would be proof of earthly involvement. Two men in their 60s from Southampton had been making circles for years, and they would show how it was done.
I lived in Australia from 1958 to 66. And when I came home, during their time in Australia, there was a report in their newspapers of a circular depression in a grass field in Queensland. And they immediately called it a UFO nest. In other words, it was where a UFO had landed. I've always been a bit interested in UFOs and sightings and that sort of thing. But when I came home in 66, I met Dave, who was a fellow artist. And we used to go venture out on Friday evenings and have a chat about watercolours and things and have a pint of beer. And one evening, summer evening, we saw a cornfield, and I remarked to him about this. And I said, why don't we put a circular depression in this cornfield, the same as they had out in Australia? I said, the UFO Society here, which was at its height at the time, Warminster especially, I said, they will probably think that it is a UFO that had landed.
Yeah, so two guys in their 60s, Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley, they come forward and they claim that they're responsible for all the circles. And they even demonstrate how it was done, where they just take a piece of wood and some ropes. And it's supposedly that this prompted Unsolved Mysteries, that update, which had to state, the update was really backhanded too. This was the update they wrote. They said, two men from Southampton, England, confessed to creating the crop circles after a night of drinking at a local pub. Crop circle believers refute these claims and suggest that the designs are far too complex to be executed by a couple of intoxicated hoaxers. There you go, drunks.
No. That's like, you know what it is?
Yeah, I mean, these guys talk about watercolors, you know? You're going to go from that to...
It's literally like how there are Bigfoot out there, and then there's people in Bigfoot suits out there. And just because there's people in Bigfoot suits doesn't mean that there isn't really Bigfoot. So that's what I think about this little situation with these two drunk guys out here.
That makes
these
sense.
Two assholes, I'm sorry, I'd like to call them, because their whole thing was like, let's just try to confuse a bunch of people for no reason. This will be really fun. Like, what? Do something more productive, guys. This is really not a...
Yeah, like most hoaxers. Like, why are you doing this? Did you not get enough attention growing up? Or just... what's going on?
I wanted to ask you,
why are you doing that?
Is it Australia's fault for having those saucer nests? That inspired these guys. Yes. Okay. All right. That's on y'all, Australia.
It's always Australia's fault.
And there's no way that these things are done by drunk people. Like people who go out, who've gone out to the bar and they're like, let's go do some crop circles after this.
Let's go do 70 of them tonight. Yeah.
Let's go soften this grass and then bend it over and then harden it back up.
That's not what's happening here. That's not the answer to where these things are coming from. And maybe the answer to that one situation, and like it's cool to actually put those guys out there and expose them, but at this point I don't think that is the solution or the reason this is happening.
Yeah, it's like those people who are copycat killers when there's like a serial killer and somebody else tries to get in on it because they just want the credit.
Exactly.
So yeah, nope.
And these guys waited till right after Unsolved Mysteries puts a nice little package together, all these professionals and professors and all these deep researchers. And as soon as it comes out, these guys drop this. And as far as the general public goes, after this admission, the legitimacy of the whole crop circle phenomenon, it took a big hit. And in the years following, the circles didn't just fade away, though. They started becoming even more numerous and much more complex than those simple ones that Doug and Dave said they created. And also, it wouldn't be fair to even call these things crop circles anymore, because the level of design and artistry has become more and more stunning. And I think it's a little more accurate to call them crop glyphs. That's the thing they try to push now. Crop glyphs. As far as researchers, those guys like Wheat Champ, Colin Andrews.
That does sound better.
Yeah, that's like they want to use that term now.
Can't call them wheat circles.
Wheat glyphs is also acceptable, probably. But the wheat glyph champ, Colin Andrews, he continues to study the field. He believes in the research they gather. And, this was in the early 90s. They continued to assert that the real crop circles are impossible to recreate, that Doug and Dave are not changing the cellular structure or creating energy fields inside these things.
That doesn't get enough credit. That doesn't get enough mention. How is the cellular structure of this stuff changing? You can't explain that, guys. Bar drunk guys.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if they just piss their alcohol-laden urine all over into very intricate patterns, and it just completely warps the molecular structure of these wheat circles.
no.
I agree, Rob. It doesn't make any sense.
And you're right. And the true believers, they weren't swayed, though. And one of these true believers is none other than radio host Art Bell. Art Bell had Colin Andrews as a regular guest for a few years, and one particularly memorable appearance was in the year 2000 when a very spectacular crop glyph was found in the area of the Chilbolton Radio Telescope in the UK. And before getting into this, I have to ask you guys if you are familiar with something called the Arecibo message.
No.
The Arecibo message is an interstellar radio message carrying basic information about humanity and Earth, and this was sent to Globular Star Cluster M13 in 1974.
Oh, shit.
This was meant as a demonstration of human technology and achievement, and rather than a real attempt to enter into conversation with extraterrestrials. So this message, it was broadcast into space a single time via a frequency-modulated radio waves at a ceremony to mark the remodeling of the Arecibo radio telescope in Puerto Rico in 1974. And this message, it was aimed at the current location of M13 about 25,000 light years from Earth. Because M13 was this large, it was relatively close a collection of stars that was available in the sky at the time and place of this ceremony. And this message that was beamed in space from Puerto Rico, his message was completely in binary. It was just ones and zeros. And when you put the one, when you erase the zeros, removed it, it would create this image, and it showed our solar system, and it pointed to what planet we were on. It had the atomic numbers of the elements that make up DNA. It had a depiction of a human.
Oh my God.
It kind of looked like a stick person because this is all, ones and zeros sent to them.
Interesting.
And
it's like a copy pasta, kind of like they sent the copy pasta into space.
Right. And it was just kind of just basic information about us here. And it also had an image of the Arecibo telescope indicating that this is what it was broadcasting, the image into deep space. I don't know. I hope I explained that well enough that this was just a message sent to whoever was listening in the galaxy. And you have to be asking, what does this have to do with Art Bell and crop circle glyphs? Let's hear.
All right. I think that it's the biggest story of the year. I was going to come on and say biggest alternative story of the year, but not really. I think it's just plain the biggest story of the year. The mainstream media is missing it. Well, I'm not, and I'm not letting go of it. It's the Chilbolton crop glyphs, if you want to call them that, crop circles, but really more glyphs. Briefly in 1974, a SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, sent out a signal which, when digitally converted, appears to be a sort of a glyph, if you will. And we sent that signal out with trillions of watts going into deep space, in hopes that somebody would receive it and answer in some way or ways. Well, in a crop field in Great Britain a couple of weeks ago, I guess, two crop circles appeared. One, a face, unmistakably a face. They're on my website right now. And the other, very apparently, an answer to the signal sent out from Arecibo in 1974 now tonight.
Yes, Art is very excited. The story of the year.
Yeah.
There's these two new wheat circles that appeared next to this Chilbolton radio telescope. And one of these is a head, and the other, he says, maybe a response to the message that was beamed into space in the 70s.
Interesting.
That's so crazy that they don't know how to send back a message in the same weird binary pattern, that they have to draw it onto our
wheat. Yeah, right. Like you couldn't just beam it back to a radio or a television or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of, remember when in Christo's documentary, when there was the crop circle and then it ended up just being like a marketing thing for some camera company or something.
Yeah, see, that makes sense for the now times. So I can kind of see the difference, but because that's all I want it to be, honestly. If there's a new wheat magical circle cereal, that I'm into. But the idea that they can receive our message and then only respond by burning our crops.
Well, they're not burnt. They're actually, they're play the clip.
Must be softened, bent over, and then hardened up again. Bending it over and then hardening up again.
Right. But
as you do.
But they're doing this to respond to a space message that was sent in the 70s. And since this is such a monumentous event, and it also involves a big ass head on the ground, Art is joined by None other than noted author and inaugural member of the SOS Hall of Fame. He's back, Richard C. Hoagland, in crop circle form.
I think it's the biggest story of the year, if not decade or millennium or whatever. You want to catch everybody up on what happened, please?
Well, I think it could be potentially the biggest story. It's a sleeper in terms of mainstream media, but as you all know, art is first on these things, and then they follow. The bottom line is that on August 14th, a couple of weeks ago, the fields outside of the Chilbolton Radio Telescope had a thing appear in the field across the fence a few hundred feet away on the morning of the 14th. And Colin Andrews, who was also our guest tonight, and had done extensive work on a glyph that appeared in that same field a year ago, was able to get a guy named Darcy Ladd, who was the manager of Chilbolton, on the phone and confirm that this glyph appeared literally overnight, just like all the most interesting ones seem to do. And it is, maybe 100 and some feet wide and 180 feet long, and it looks like a face. It eerily reminds people
of a face. Richard, it is a face.
Well, yeah, it looks like a face. It is a face.
It is a face.
It's in a frame. But it reminds a lot of people. It reminded you, because I heard you on the air on Mars.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. That's why Richard here, because it's kind of like, it's a face, Richard. Just admit it. It's like, I don't know. Does he not want this thing infringing on his precious face on Mars? He can't even admit it's a face. Play Soundboard 7, because I like Art Bell just constantly pushing this.
Well, yeah, it looks like a face. It is a face.
It is a face.
It's in a frame.
It's in a frame.
Yeah, you can tell that he's sick of his shit, though, too. Like, no, it's a face.
Yeah, I've shared this picture. We'll post this on Instagram. But yeah, it is a face. There's no doubting that. I don't know why he's farting around with the notion that it's not.
It's pretty creepy too. It's not just it's not just a face. It's kind of really creepy looking too.
Yeah, it has a weird upturned nose.
I can kind of see why they were saying, "Oh, it looks like a face." It's like when people see, the Virgin Mary or Jesus burnt
like
onto their toast. We're like, okay, it looks like it. But there's times where, dude, that's a fucking face.
It doesn't look just like a face. It looks like an alien, a gray alien's face. It's got big eyes that are dark.
Creepy.
It doesn't look like it has an actual nose, really. It's kind of got like those two little slits like that a gray alien.
Well, I see it differently. To me, it looks like the nose is like upturned, like those ugly things in like the Twilight Zone almost.
It
like
does have
weird
a little
alien.
Twilight Zone.
A little bit, but it kind of has like a communion vibe, like the Christopher Walken communion vibe, like those.
Oh, I thought.
No, like those
the book
aliens.
Cover. No, it just looks like it looks like the cover of the book too. And,
exactly.
As far as his being a face, Art Bell, he has never been more sure of anything in his life, and he has to reiterate again to SOS Hoagland.
Right. No matter though what you believe, there can be no question. You look at it on my website. It's a face.
Image number 1 at the top of the tonight's crop glyphs, crop circles, images.
Yeah, you don't have to wonder about this, folks. It'll hit you.
It looks like a face. Now, what?
Yeah, you don't have to wonder about this. Let's change the topic. Got it now? It's like, all right, relax. We believe you, Art.
It looks like when you put on like a face mask and you peel it off, like it's kind of like what it looks like. Is like that.
I gotta say, I don't really, I can't relate.
I mean,
maybe
it's pretty gross.
Well, maybe like the wheat is like, those like weird pin things in the glass square that you can put on your face and make a little imprint.
Oh
with.
yeah,
maybe the wheat is like that to them.
Image.
Yeah, this big alien just stuck his face into it, like he enlarged it.
I will say though, it's not symmetrical. It's not like as perfectly symmetrical as a lot of the other things that we've seen. The square is a little, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little.
They need to use a ruler next time.
It's
a little janky,
maybe.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, if this was their best attempt, it's not very good.
I don't know why they're just talking about the head when you think the message would be great, because as amazing as the wheat head is, remember, there is 2 glyphs that appeared by this telescope, and the second one is very intriguing because it looks nearly identical to that Arecibo message. It looks just like the thing that we sent into space, but it has a few distinct differences. What's the differences, Hoagland?
The key differences are you got more spirals on the left-hand side of the DNA than you do on the right.
Apparent triple helix.
Triple helix.
Yes.
You've got a big-headed alien-type guy instead of pinhead.
Or human, depending on what you believe this is.
Well, it looks to a lot of people like the, quote, classic gray.
Yeah, we went from a pinhead, you know, the depiction of a human on the right on the Arecibo signal is like a stick man who you know had a few good dinners. And on the left, it's a big round head. And any other differences?
Well, the solar system line. If you look where our solar system is on the one on the right, and the one on the left here, you've got 3 raised planets, which indicate that whoever these guys are, they're claiming that we live on 3 planets in our, quote, solar system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very, very complex crop circle, and it is a response to that radio message. We sent out our info out, and they just hit us back with theirs.
Weird. Really weird.
Yeah, why would they send us just a face? Is it supposed to be like an emoji? They're reacting to us, and they're not happy.
This is the other picture that you sent us, Russ. This is
the other picture. This is the Arecibo message response crop circle spectacular, and yeah, it differs from ours because that it's got a triple helix DNA. The pinhead man has a very big head, and he's claiming he's from 3 planets. It's kind of a response to ours. It's the same format, just in. They're giving their own alien info.
I'm trying to see what they were talking about. I'm looking at the picture right now. I can't see the fat stickhead man that Art Bell mentioned.
Well, you're not this one of these crop circle experts. They gotta like break it down for the layman.
Yeah, clearly you and I, Rob, are not just meant to understand the depth and complexity of these messages.
It just looks like someone was bad at Tetris. It looks like a bad Tetris game from this picture that I'm looking at right now.
I think a better example is when they put the 2 next to each other, and you can kind of see what the Arecibo Atari looking message that we sent into space looks like, and the response looks exactly like it.
Yeah,
but they're talking about it, but this is just Art and Hoagland. So they eventually bring on the expert, the champ, Colin Andrews, who has seen these new circles up close.
Now, you just got back from that field. You got an opportunity to scoot over there, I guess, and take a look at this. What in the heck have you found?
Well, what I've found is that there's human logic. Now, I'm not talking, again, to the people that have given me a hard time this last year. I'm not saying these are created by people. I mean, the people up in London, the artists, or the Doug and Daves of this world.
It was not a Doug and Dave job, was it?
It's not a Doug and Dave job. These are new boys on the block. Everything I've seen in the last 2 decades, nothing compares to the last 3 grand finale patterns in England this year.
Yeah, this is not a Doug and Dave situation.
Oh, good.
Man, those guys, Doug and Dave,
good.
They have to be his mortal enemies, right? Because this is like 10 years after that Unsolved Mysteries. This guy, Colin Andrews, he's still in the game when a lot of others would have bailed on that. He almost reminds me of Jose Escamilla, meaning that I like him.
Yeah, like when they have that kind of integrity of just like really, really wanting to get their own message out there, you kind of have to like tip your hat to them. But
yeah, it's like he found all the weirdness in them before they were, a hoaxer claimed them. So he would have to just give it up and admitted that these 2 quote unquote drunk guys they're painted as can go in and just fool all of these academics.
Well, and at this point, these designs are taking it to a whole nother level as far as like the understanding of that message that you spoke about that's got sent into space. So they have to have like a really solid grasp on that, which is really complicated because it's written in binary, 0s and 1s.
Doug and Dave.
So like,
Doug and
this
Dave
is just 2 drunk guys at a bar. No, I don't think so. Like there's so much to it at this point. And then like they're changing what it says too, so they understand how to actually write in binary as well. And then they're somehow able to able to physically materialize this in the field accurately as well. There's too much. It doesn't make any sense.
No, like how are you going to translate binary into these kind of crude pictographs?
Yeah,
I don't even want to call them glyphs at this point. We've seen some other examples of crop circles in the past where they're just like, it looks almost decorative. I call them logos. It looks like a logo brand. It's weird. But then you see these things where it's like, okay, they're responding back supposedly in binary. How come they didn't just send it back in binary?
It creates the idea that there's this elaborate hoaxer who is just like a genius,
Playing
just an evil maniacal genius, like master level, Thanos level, like troll or something. Like this guy is.
All right, don't get him
this
that
guy
big of
is.
a head.
Well, he understands everything. He understands,
and he has access to the most prime real estate of all of the crop circle phenomenon, right by this radio telescope out there, the Chilbolton telescope, signalizing replying to another telescope.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. Whatever, Don and Dave,
Doug and Dave. Dave?
Doug
yeah.
and Dave.
Yeah, nice
Get outta
try,
here, guys.
idiots.
I was actually going to play one of the clips from Strange Brew, but I remember those guys were Bob and Dave. I was like, I thought they might have been Doug and Dave.
No, that's still that's still
close.
fine. I just missed Strange Brew. That'd be great.
Yeah, we can get them in there.
Fine.
But the champion of the week, that guy, he kind of agrees with you. His investigation concludes that there was no way it could have been made by anyone on the ground. This circle was created from above.
It looks like for the first time we have technology. That's what I would say. So,
are you agreeing then, Colin, that this could not have, in these cases, have been done from the ground? It would have had to have been, no matter who did it, from the air?
I would tend to think that was the case. I can't say that it positively is so, Art. I'm certainly have in the last few years become a little more careful. We have seen extraordinary patterns made by people, some of them, on camera, and so therefore I think
careful.
I think being careful is the right way to go.
Yeah, there's not a lot of confidence in that statement. People must give this guy a lot of crap. He seems very gun-shy with his analysis.
Yeah, I would say maybe the whole being careful is another term for backpedaling in this case.
Yeah, no one careful ever made it in the paranormal world. Getting Zach Baggins was never careful on his reign.
The Warrens were not careful.
Just being like a UFO person makes you like susceptible to other people's opinions. Like everybody's going to look at you like you're crazy. But then if your thing is really like crop circles, you're taking it to a whole nother level where like you're not just obsessed with UFOs. You're obsessed with like these unexplained things that are happening in fields that really like nobody is really talking about.
Yeah, they're weird Sharpie drawings in the bar bathrooms of the solar system.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it is known that there are lots of artistic groups that just go out and do these on purpose anyway. That there's competitions, there's corporate sponsorship for a lot of these.
Sure. Nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised at all if now there's going to be groups going out and doing that. Now that we have the technology to soften and bend over and then harden again. So many plant fibers.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they can do it exactly the same, but nowadays you could just say like someone's using a drone up above so that they can see what they're doing below. But this has been happening since, like you said, the 1600s. So that explanation really doesn't float.
That's when I think it's fairies.
That probably is the fairies, that situation, because it goes hundreds of years and then these things start coming around.
Yeah, we've never really talked much about fairies. I think we need to do a fairy episode.
We'll get into it this year.
Good, because they're terrifying.
They're out there. And they've been out there.
Oh, yeah, they are.
They're living amongst us.
And they are not cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
God.
But back into crop circles, another one of his findings in this blockbuster story of the century is his discovery of static electricity in the crop face and in the message. And Art Bell, he gets very excited about this.
Great Britain is traditionally a very dank kind of place with a lot of mist and rain and so forth. So where would you get static electricity?
Well, that is indeed the question. What we found was that the grid lines that were left there for everyone to see measured a plus voltage of 80 volts.
My God, 80 volts.
80 volts.
80 volts.
That's a hell of a carpet.
That's a hell of a indeed. Plus, another thing, an electrostatic charge is here now and gone a second later. That's the nature of static electricity. So how could we be getting these readings, 2 weeks later, Colin?
Well, that's right. We were walking across the minor and major axis of both designs many times over, and still we have pulsing 80 volts.
80 volts.
80 volts.
80 volts.
You love electronics, Rob. Is 80 volts doing it for you?
80 volts. 80 volts. 80 volts. 80 volts. Yeah.
All right, play soundboard 8. Yeah, of course I had to get one of them.
My God. 80 volts.
80 volts.
80 volts.
Oh, no.
Look, I mean, like, Jack's an electrical engineer, and I'm pretty sure 80 volts wouldn't even wake him up.
No, 80 volts. 80 volts is a nice little, hey, how you doing? I think you don't want 80 volts.
Okay, so maybe it would wake him up, but he'd go right back to sleep.
I don't know. I'm not an electrician. I'm not an electrician. I have no idea.
In a crop face, in a dank, you heard what Art calling it dank and misty, and there's lots of mist in legend and stuff out there.
Sounds like it just sounds like it's getting kind of into a gross adult area, but not in a pleasant way.
The only time I ever hear anybody use the word dank is when they're describing weed. That's like the only time I ever hear anybody use the word dank nowadays.
Now I miss California. Fuck.
Right?
I don't know. Maybe Art knows what's going on down there. That's why 80 volts is getting so excited. And after they talk about 80 volts, he starts talking about a lot of dowsing that's going on there. They're starting to douse around these things. Yes, I was about to say, this went on for a while, so I didn't clip it all. But of course, I had to include this because if there's one thing we know about Art Bell and dowsing, yes, Drea said, of course, yes, his wife. And Colin and Hoagland, they try to start schooling Art on dowsing, but he is not having it.
Specialized equipment, they will find underground electricity cables, live cables using dowsing rods. During Vietnam, the Marines regularly employed dowsers to find the tunnels of the Viet Cong. Absolutely.
My wife does dowsing, so I know all about it.
Right.
All right.
Every time. I love it.
Always.
As soon as they brought up dowsing, I got very excited. I was like, oh, please drop that on.
I think he gets really excited. Like, ooh, dowsing rods. All right.
Hoagland's even jumping in, going, "Oh, you know, in Vietnam they do." He's like, "Yeah. My wife does in Vietnam."
Trust me, we know. God, sit down.
One thing that he's proud about is that his wife douses. That's one thing we know about Art Bell.
And it's
pretty
sweet.
cool.
I find it sweet.
Yeah. So I gotta ask, what do you guys think of this Choboltan crop glyphs?
Dude, I mean, like, I thought that I had crap circles figured out. I thought it was a bunch of crap mostly, but when I hear about that, the Arecibo thing and the binary stuff, I didn't know about that. So now, honestly, I can say definitively, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a good place to be. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still where we started off, where like I know how powerful of a topic this is, and I know
it's true.
I know that it's like there's no answers here, and there probably will never be answers for this one, unless the aliens show up and they're like, "Yeah, that was us." Like.
We were just fucking around.
Yeah, like that was totally us. We take credit for that.
Like you were supposed to figure it out years ago. We gave you all these weird clues and ciphers. And
you dumb idiots couldn't figure your way out of a fucking crossword puzzle.
So they gave us this, we'll start with the binary and move on.
Yeah, the way that like it affected the cellular structure of the plants, like that's never going to get enough attention. That's like important. That sounds like it's important. There's something weird going on there.
They're like, whatever. Doug and Kate spilled their
whatever. Like
they spilled their beer on it, and that's what it was.
We're like, move along. That's just bullshit. It's like there's something weird to that. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. Would love to see like if there is still, I don't know what the situation is as far as like, I guess crop circles are probably still pretty popular. Like, are there people, you would assume there's people out there still
happening?
I think there probably is. Yeah. And like, it's interesting to me to wonder if there's anybody testing those crop circles still. And if this is like, if they can make some sort of a connection that like all of these crops that are unexplained do have this strange cellular alteration to them, then like there's something to that. That's like, I don't know, that shouldn't be overlooked.
Yeah, like what if they have on like a much smaller scale with different crops where it's not just corn and wheat? What if it's like it happens for like a strawberry field, but you can't really see it because they're so much smaller?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh, you would have to get some kind of weird filter and be able to. Oh, that's a lot. That seemed like a lot of work that no one's really up to. People are barely.
I shouldn't have had that thought. Yeah, I apologize.
No.
now I'm gonna think too much about everything.
I don't know if you can figure. Yeah, we can figure out a way to like, I don't know, to decipher something like that. That would be neat. Yeah, there could be a new field. There could be all kind of new fields in this. And as far as this like Choboltan crop goes, and as much as Art Bell touted this was going to be the story of the year, the decade, the millennium, it really didn't work out like that. And I have a pretty good idea of why. Because this breaking story in this interview, this was aired on September 10th, 2001.
Oh.
And
yeah,
within a few hours, this would be completely forgotten about. Crop circles would just kind of have to go away. This is why this story never broke through. And that
pretty convenient. Pretty convenient, huh? Seems like possibly some sort of a cover up or something.
The crop circle story of the century comes along. Next day, it's 9/11, and no one's talking about crop circles.
Yeah. That's how it happens, man. That's how it happens. Like something bigger comes into the news, and it just it completely overshadows something else. And I don't even know if this crop circle thing was in the news to begin with, but
I would really hate for those to be actually related at all.
I think anything that happened anytime around the days like before that completely got erased from existence, or at least from the public's eye.
There were little news reports about Gary Condon in this episode. It's very strange when you realize this was just the day right before. Donald Rumsfeld was on things talking about closing some military bases because we had too many. And that tune changed real quick. But the crop circles, actually, they would make their way back into the mainstream. And in 2002, M. Night Shyamalan came out with Signs. You guys fans of Signs?
Yeah.
Just a year later, kind of came
I
back.
love that movie.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
Yeah, say what you will about M. Night Shyamalan, but Signs is fun. I'm sorry. And if you don't
It's a
think
great
Signs is
movie.
fun, then you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, learn how to have fun. It's a really
Yeah.
it builds up really great.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that, like, of course it's filled with tropes. It's filled with, classic horror movie tropes and just like ridiculous stuff. The whole water thing. I know people love to shit on the water thing. Whatever.
I thought
it's
that
cool.
it was subtle enough.
I
But okay, fine. We're not a movie critiquing podcast, but yeah,
Yes,
I'm
are.
on your
We
side,
definitely
Rob.
are. We are 100% a movie critiquing podcast.
We critique anything.
We're just not your normal sort of movie critiquing podcast.
Awesome. I love this new direction.
I relate to the water bit, though, because my youngest son, that's all he does. There's constantly like at least 6 or 7 bottled waters everywhere in the house. So very relatable film as far as that goes. And there's also like a bunch of documentaries out there. Of course, they explore all the different forms and different angles of crop circles. Some people believe time travel. Some think these have evolved with alien disclosure, that these are new age messages. Some think these are extra dimensional. And of course, many seriologists are still out there. And yes, we got to the end. That's the official name of the crop circle experts, a seriologist.
Serial.
Okay. You can't be serial.
Serial.
These guys are super seriologists. They're very good. They're still out there. Colin Andrews still out there. And there's another one who's actually still at work. You want to know what crop circles are up to now? I found a very recent interview on Vice with a seriologist named Andy Thomas. And this gives a good idea of the current state of seriology and the theories that are being pursued now.
They think they're made by aliens or extra dimensionals. I mean, it's a big universe. There must be other life out there. Whether it's coming here, of course, is one of the great debates. It may well be that we are being visited by other intelligences, and maybe they feel like leaving some graffiti in the fields. Or maybe it's more than that they're trying to very gently make people aware of them in a way that doesn't create fear. It has been argued the slow acclimatization process of little patterns built up a little bit more and a bit more every year is a way of getting us used to the idea of otherness. But there are many, many other theories, some very strange, some religious, some you would never even imagine.
I don't know. I can imagine a lot. I can imagine hedgehogs doing this now. I can imagine willy willies.
You would imagine a bunch of willies in a field. I would prefer the hedgehog idea.
I love calling it graffiti, like intergalactic graffiti or something. Like
they're
that's
just
cool.
tagging.
Yeah, that's cool. It's pretty cool.
It makes a lot of sense when you like if there was to be an alien species visiting here on Earth, and then they see like our subway trains just like decked out and all this stuff, and then another one that's perfectly pristine. They would probably gather that like, oh, they like things decorated like that. Cool. Let's decorate their fields.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, like when you just go to some place like that's like really foreign and like sometimes people like write their name in a brick, to like, and come back like 20 years later. It's kind of like
you
a
see
similar...
some new concrete being poured. You can't help yourself. You got to put your name in it.
They see like a field and they're like, oh, I can't, this is just a blank canvas.
And it's known as like Lover's Field there. So they could be doing whatever nefarious things they do, probably in the U.S., taking someone up
so
to
it's
whatever.
Pornographic imagery glyphs that are...
Pornographic, actually, is the term.
Come on.
Pornographic.
No.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I'll let that slide, Rob. That was pretty
there's
funny.
Way too many, there's been way too many wheat references, so we'll take it. We like corn.
Yeah,
Corn's
we like
good,
corn.
So.
Corn is good.
Corn good.
Corn good, yes.
So this seriologist, he also talks about some crop circle strangeness that he has personally experienced.
I have had some very strange experiences myself around the circles. I was with a group of 2 other colleagues and we were up on a hillside looking down over a field with crop circles in it. And we saw 3 of these small glowing balls of light. So I have seen it for myself and I know it's there. And we also witnessed on another occasion in the same week, strange, very dark shapes flying very, very quickly over the fields, and there was no reasonable explanation as to what they were that we could find. They were soundless, they were quite eerie.
Quite eerie. Balls of light, dark ships. This guy is firsthand experiencing still. This video is just from like 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, poor him.
It's happening, man. It's still happening.
Yeah, it sounds so terrifying.
Cereology is still a legitimate profession. There's still a lot going on. And look, I got one more experience so we can get out of these crop circles. And this is, again, from cereologist Andy Thomas. And this might be the most unbelievable one yet.
We were doing experiments in the mid-1990s, trying to see could the power of the mind in any way have something to do with it. And we'd done an experiment where we'd drawn a crop circle, sort of basically fairly simple, 6 circular elements in a line. And we had performed some kind of meditation, if you want to call it that, up on a hillside. And that exact shape appeared as a crop circle that very night. We didn't make it, we had nothing to do with it, and it was perfect. It was a beautiful formation. That really, I think because of the connection we felt with that, whatever was going on, that's probably my favourite crop circle of all time.
Yeah, everyone has their favorite crop circle. That one might be mine too, Dre. What you think?
I don't have a favorite one because I mean, I've never been able to look at one and be like, oh, that's beautiful. I'm going to take this with me forever in my memory. Like, what made them? They just said they had 6 circles lined up in a row. That was it.
I think they were maybe rings intercircled in each other, but that's what they said. Rob, you were talking about that you wanted to somehow make a crop circle. I think all you have to do is draw it and go there and think about it.
Meditate.
And then,
Yeah. You have to go to the seeing stone, and you have to sit atop the seeing stone, and then you have to think about and draw said designs, and then a Jedi will come and rescue you, I think is what happens.
Or you play those violent flame songs that just really get yourself in that mode and concentrate on that circle.
Yeah, that works as well. That's pretty cool though. Like, if what he's saying is true, then that implies a psychic connection between whoever's making these things and I guess people who are open to trying to connect with those beings or whatever.
I can see that being a thing where they see an image and they think about it enough, they meditate on it enough that message is received by some other, being out there and shows them that they connect, that they're acknowledging at least that they can see that message. But I mean, I don't know, like have some kind of message behind it, not just like, okay, I'm going to think of a flower. Can you draw a flower? Like do something more with it. Like
I'd like to see that actually. I would like to see
that
would
be
draw
cool.
a flower. Actually,
I would probably do something stupid like dick pictures and like
boobs,
stupid.
just
yeah, it'd be funny.
Like 80085, just like
well, it'd have to be a binary.
That's binary. That's what I was thinking too. Like when they said binary, I know binary is just zeros and ones, but it would be way funnier if you just sent boobs like to the aliens. They're like these assholes.
800. Yeah, they're like, oh, okay.
Well, the rest of the glyph could be the rest of the calculator. So I'd be like, oh, we call it. He really did it.
Yeah.
So
true. Yeah, they'll come back at us with like actual like emoticons, not emojis. But when people would type out using the keyboard symbols to make pictures. And you know how to make a dick out of that.
I would try to take it a step further and ask it a question and see if it can answer. Like turn this into a giant Ouija board.
Rob.
Use the Earth as like a Ouija board.
Yeah, exactly. Like let's get a little bit beyond just dick pics and boobs. Can we like get to an actual like thought process here? Like a little conversation maybe? Is that so much to ask?
Yeah, it's not. It's not. And I like you guys' thought that, yes, it definitely is in that unexplained category. And to me, it's like UFOs. If 95% can be explained, it's like, what about that small percent that can't? A few could be real. And a few of these crop circles, they could be real, but it's just too confusing with all these talented crop artists and these elaborate designs that are coming out all the time. But I still like crop circles. So I want to say, be sure and answer this week's poll. What is creating the real crop circles? Is it UFOs? Is it hoaxsters like Doug and Dave? Is it Willy Willy? Is it hedgehogs? Or is it other? So just go to UnbelieversPodcast.com to vote, and let's get out of there.
Oh my goodness! Look at the crop circles! Over the farmland, the aliens came down on their spaceship and they put a little picture in the crops for us to look at. What a fantastic picture! People want us to believe.
Yes, of course, Paranormal Song Warrior with his crop circle song.
I love him.
He's so good. We got to get him back on the show. We called him that one time, like randomly. I forget. Was that on like?
That was on a Patreon.
Was it Patreon? We just called him randomly one time. Somehow we got his phone number and he was just like, hello? You're on the Unbelievers podcast. What's going on?
You cold called him. You cold called me right before that. And like, I think that makes for the best content. And I would love to just catch him by surprise again.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
He probably would be able to just play us a song right then and there.
Yeah, this is a good spot. Maybe since this is the first episode, we don't normally do this. I'm going to plug the Patreon right now, because if you like that stuff about the crop circles, we just did a Patreon episode a few weeks ago where Russ has been playing back all of his old recordings that we were talking about earlier, and it's really funny stuff. So check out the Patreon.
Crop circles, crap circles. Yes. You want that.
The conclusion to that is coming up very soon. We're going to record that in a couple weeks for you guys. But before, we're going to get to a mailbag, but I have something I wanted to play for you guys really quick. This is a little mashup I made while I was listening to that episode of Coast to Coast about the crop circles. This is a mashup of Art Bell pitching some product that he's selling and a news report that was played on the very same episode about 20 minutes later. Check this out.
How would you like to actually begin to look younger? I mean it. Look younger. To see your skin begin to smooth out, to see the wrinkles begin to really honestly go away, not get covered or obscured in some other manner, but I mean really begin to go away. More energy, a diminished wrinkling of the skin, enhanced immune function, increased exercise performance, improved memory, sharper vision. It sounds like you're getting younger, huh? Well, guess what? You are.
The Senate's investigating pills, tonics, and creams that could create health risks for the senior citizens. So-called anti-aging products currently have no regulations to protect consumers. University of Central Florida professor Tracy Deitz says it doesn't surprise her these substances are being advertised.
If it's not actually a drug, then they can advertise it whomever they want. But what they will suggest is that there are benefits of the product. And I'm not suggesting that there are no benefits, simply that they're not anti-aging.
Whoa, uh-oh.
Okay, whoa.
Sorry, Art Bell. Yeah, he's literally pitching anti-aging stuff, and they're like, the FDA is looking into these false claims from the. It's like, okay, someone should have checked with Art before.
And they chose like the snottiest sounding person to retort against it too. Like, they can say it all they want, and it's pretty much false.
That's crazy that Art Bell is like the original Joe Rogan, like in many ways. He's pushing nootropics on people over here, trying to sell. Like I'd never heard Art Bell trying to sell, like, that sounds like when you listen to a podcast and they try to sell you like Blue Chew. That's exactly what it sounds like. Is like
Rich
a drop.
Wallet.
Yeah.
People give Alex Jones a lot of crap, too, about all these weird products. But I guess these things just goes way back. It started with Art Bell, maybe. He's just hawking these weird creams and things.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm with Rob. I've never heard this commercial. And I'm honestly shocked and appalled to hear that he even went down that route.
I mean,
honestly, probably wouldn't even noticed if that news story wouldn't have played so shortly after. I was like, wait a minute, are they talking about the same thing?
I thought it was a direct, immediate response to it.
It was a few minutes later where I was like, wait a minute, he just was hawking these things a few minutes ago. Are they aware of this?
Maybe that's the way that, maybe he meant that. I don't know.
I mean, technically they're a sponsor of his show. They're kind of like a patron to him. So he has to show a level of respect to them. So you got to do what you got to do sometimes to keep your show going. And I think Art was just, he was just trying to keep it moving, man. He's trying to help you out. He's trying to help you from aging.
Art looked pretty great. So
I wonder if he tried that product himself.
Oh, absolutely. Sure he did.
In the name of science.
Rest in peace, Art Bell, man. I love when we get to listen to Art Bell.
Yeah, he doesn't need to anti-age anymore.
We have to do a big one on him soon. But let's get into it now. We haven't heard it in a while. Here it is, the Unbelievers voicemail bag.
The Unbelievers mail bag.
Ooh, right in the mailbag.
Hey man, check your mailbox.
Hey, you got some new mail over here.
Mailbag. The mailbag is cool. Mailbag.
Sup, bitches? It's mail time.
Woo! Yeah. We have one Unbelievers mailbag we want to play this week. We went a little long, but I really want to play this voicemail. So let's check it out.
This is the Wombat Preservationist.
And this is Wombat Preservationist.
And we just watched Rob's favorite movie, E.T., the Extraterrestrial.
Right. Oh, no. It was very sad.
It was very sad, but it was also fucking horrifying.
No.
And I totally agree with Rob. The scene with him throwing the ball in there, and then the scene with E.T. entering his home with just fucking Ringu arms coming up the stairs, coming around fucking his room, like in the doorway. Creepy as hell.
No. You just wanted to eat some candy, and you just wanted to grow some plants, and you just wanted to learn English and have a good friend in Elliot and Gertie, and it was a good, sweet movie, and then it was sad, and then it was happy again.
After that, the movie was sweet. I'll totally agree. But the beginning, the fucking first 20 minutes of that movie is horrifying. And I get it. Also, his scream sounds like a mixture between a duck and a baby crying, and it's
hated that.
Not
Our
okay.
cats hated that.
Yeah, my cats both were like, "What the fuck is happening?" Perked up. So, on a matter of ratings,
4 Reese's Pieces.
4 Reese's Pieces. No rods.
Yeah.
No rods.
Well, you like mom and her cat costume.
Mom's cat costume is pretty hot, so I'll give it like 2.
Yeah.
But
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Happy hiatus! Hell yeah!
Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Wombat Preservationists, for that great review of the film E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Yes.
Great film. I love it. There's the scary parts. We've talked about this. When E.T. looks all chalky and he's in that ravine or whatever, that is terrifying.
Look, he looks terrifying at all angles in any state. He could be well rested. Ew.
He gets better. He's fine. E.T.'s cool.
I feel so vindicated right now. I feel so vindicated. I feel noticed. Thank you, Wombat Preservationist, for agreeing with me. Yeah, and I feel like it's only right to just show everybody what he was talking about. This is the Scream right here. Check out the Scream.
Ew. Oh, okay.
Oh, God. Poor
I thought it was the human
little
child
girl's also screaming as well.
Yeah, that was very confusing.
But you heard him. He's in there. He does sound kind of like a duck a little bit. I hear what they're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a terrifying noise. It's not on the soundboard or anything, so we're not going to...
Good. It shouldn't
Don't
be.
ask for that. Don't ever ask for that.
We don't ever need it.
Who knows? We should never need an E.T. scream, I'm sure. All right. That's it. That's it for this week's voicemail bag. Yeah, go leave us a voicemail. It's 469-420-0114. All right.
The Unbelievers mail bag.
Ooh, right in the mailbag.
Hey, man, check your mailbox.
Hey, you got some new mail over here.
Mailbag. The mailbag is cool. Mailbag.
Sup, bitches? It's mail time. Woo! Woo! Woo!
All right. Hey, Drea.
Yeah.
We got one thing left. What's that?
Poll results.
Last year's poll. What should we discuss in 2021? And the choices were aliens and UFOs, Bigfoot and cryptids, rods, psychics and channelers, or other. I'm going to ask you, Drea, what do you think the Unbelievers said?
And I wish they wouldn't, but I have a feeling they're going to say rods.
All right. What about you, Rob?
I think they actually probably said aliens and UFOs because I think our listeners like when people fuck aliens and they want more alien fucking probably.
It was close at the top, but actually, yeah, congratulations, Rob. Aliens and UFOs with 15% of the vote.
You know what? Hats off to you. Good. I'm glad they didn't pick rods.
Starting off 2021 kind of hot, I'm just saying.
Well,
strong.
Bigfoot and cryptids came in with 12.5%. We had rods with only 3% and 0 for psychics and channelers. I'm like, oh,
even
okay.
better. Good.
All right.
People are done with the psychics and channelers.
Yeah, so am I.
We've had enough. We get it, guys.
All right, fine. But of course, there are others. What should we discuss in 2021? What's the deal with Tom DeLonge and to the Stars Academy? Fuck no. Signed the Night Pickle. I don't know. What is up with Tom DeLonge? I've heard some rumblings.
Yeah, I wish we had a fuck no clip, but we don't. But I do have this.
And this gentleman sits down, and the waiter comes up. He waves off the waiter, and he looks me in the eye and says, "It was the Cold War, and we found a life form." And that's when I start shitting my pants.
Wow, the deluxe version. There you go, Night Pickle. What should we discuss in 2021? R.I.P. Trapper. May you rest in I didn't catch shit cryptid heaven. Signed, first time boner, long time yogurt. Thank you. Thank you so much. First time boner, long time yogurt. Yes, R.I.P. Trapper. R.I.P. Trapper. Thank you so much. What should we discuss in 2021? I think it's obvious. Signed, Rod Lover 69. There you go.
See, there's
all
the
right.
rods. All right.
Sky News 9 in 1999.
Those rods are huge, man.
You got it. Thank you, Rod. See, I told y'all. Thank you, Rod Lover 69.
Nah.
What should we discuss in 2021? Bowls full of jizz, pants soaked in piss, and an all-fruit diet. Signed, Rococo style.
Okay.
Oh no, do we still have to?
My forehead's repelling the bowl. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know how we're doing it. We're repelling that bowl Rococo style, but
of the Rococo style that embellished the building.
Thank you, Rococo style. What should we discuss in 2021? Perhaps bowls that ejaculate into us. Signed.
No.
Oh, God.
Come on. Thank you, Green Finhawk, I guess. Oh, no. I thought we were repelling the bowls.
We went to this room. There was this bowl on this table, and I was supposed to ejaculate into the bowl.
All right. Thank you, Green Finhog. What should we discuss in 2021? Aliens or shit or something. You're really good at it. Why would I lie about something like that? Signed, K. Mill. Thank you, K. Mill. Of course, aliens.
We saw some Martian or shit or something.
Yeah, we'll get into the Martian shit, because I guess, according to K. Mill...
I'm really good at it.
Thank you, K. Mill. And you gotta take his word, because...
Why would I lie about something like that?
Yeah, and I think I got what it goes with it, yeah, because if someone did lie about something like that, I would just say...
I die you insult me with a lie.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, K. Mill. I die you insult me with that
yes,
lie.
The Patreon members will recognize that clip for sure.
What should we discuss in 2021? More pants filling, duh. Signed, Pants Filler. Of course, welcome back, Pants Filler.
Be throwing up and filling my pants.
Still filling those pants.
What should we discuss in 2021? Phantoms, fruits, and clean living. Signed, Baby Yoda's escape rod. Oh, thank you to Baby Yoda's escape rod.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about
clean
that.
living.
Kind of don't like that. I don't really like that.
I like that. What should we discuss besides that in 2021? More weird history, like Saint Germain or ancient lost civilization stuff would be interesting, but not some ancient alien BS. Oh, you didn't sign off, but...
Oh.
Hey, that's
I do
a
like
fair
that.
Immediately, I was like,
Yeah.
we could do some ancient aliens, and then at the end of it, I was like, oh, no.
Nope, we don't want that. But send us some
They
weird
want
history
some
stuff.
real shit.
Yeah, they want the real stuff. They want the violet flame. What should we discuss in 2021? Episode on Art Bell's New Year's prediction open lines or Halloween Ghost to Go specials would be great. Signed, Mass Blogger. Of course, we're going to give Art Bell some love. Definitely more. I'll check out those New Year's predictions. But hey, you got Art Bell crop circles. So there you go.
What's the term you use? Extraterrestrials?
Thank you, Mass Blogger. Okay, yeah, that kind of fizzled out. What should we discuss in 2021? Vicious monkeys and tigers. Signed, Kermit from Loveland. Oh, okay, Kermit.
They could be vicious monkeys or could be tigers.
We'll get into it. Thank you, Kermit from Loveland. What should we discuss in 2021? I wish there was a way I could write my own answer on this poll. Signed, Harley Warren. Whoa, Harley, you can put whatever you want. Come on.
Like how you
Is that his new bit?
You just did it.
Is that the new bit? I don't know.
I think
I don't know about
so.
this
You can
one.
put whatever you want, Harley. Oh, God dang it. All right. Thank you, Harley Warren.
Well, we know what his last bit was.
And he actually ended up, getting a nice little medal for that. Thank you, everyone, for participating in polls. Yeah, and I've still got a ton of those magnets that I won Unbelievers Podcast poll results. All I get was this crummy magnet. That's still in play. I've got a bunch left. What should we discuss in 2021? More time traveler shit and things. Signed, Unbeliever Carol.
Oh, okay.
So she wants us to ask, or say, I guess, this.
If you are a time traveler, and only if you are a time traveler,
All right. Thank you, Carol. What did we discuss in 2021? Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Signed, Strictly in a Bowl. Thank you, Strictly in a Bowl. Okay. What should we discuss in 2021? I'd like to hear more about that Wizard of Oz guy. He was fascinating. Signed, the Wombat Preservationist. What? Okay. Fascinating. Thank you, Wombat Preservationist. What should we discuss in 2021? Bad Santaverse and the Fudge Elves. Signed, Unbeliever Tyler. Oh, we got to get into what? They're not the Fudge Elves. I think they're the.
Is it the keyboard elf? Is a cookie elf?
Yeah, completely different type of elf than the Fudge.
No, but I will say those EL Fudges. That is those cookie elves' best work.
They're pretty good.
Those
good.
EL Fudge. Thank you, Unbeliever Tyler. What should we discuss in 2021? You know what? I think it'd be a great idea to get a bowl and fill it with topic ideas. You can pick from at random.
That's pretty
Thank
good.
you, Blue Box UFO. Give him some kind of bowl for that. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Wally picked up the ball.
What should we thank you, Blue Box UFO? What should we discuss in 2021? Yes, it's about time those dope-smoking hippies returned. Signed, God's 10-star general. You got it, JC. What should we discuss in 2021? Shadow people and black-eyed children. You don't think we've done either. I think that would be interesting, right? You want to do some shadow people, some black-eyed children? They didn't sign off.
That's true. We have not talked about them, but sure.
Yeah, it's good recommendations, I think, for sure.
All right, and our final one. What should we discuss in 2021? Me, filling my pants. Signed, Just B. All right, thank you, Just B.
Be throwing up and filling my pants.
All right, we had a lot of fun ones tonight. We had the Night Pickle. We had Night Pickle with What's the Dill with Tom DeLonge and the To the Stars Academy. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it 2-Star Academy. It's not a 2-Star Academy, but no, I don't know. It's at least 4 stars out of 5. We also had the First Time Boner, Long Time Yogurt with R.I.P. Trapper. May you rest in. I didn't catch shit cryptid heaven. We had Rod Lover 69 with I Think It's Obvious. We had Rococo Style with bowls full of jizz, pants soaked in piss, and an all-fruit diet. We had Green Finhawk with perhaps bowls that ejaculate into us. Maybe that. Oh, thank you, Green Finhawk. We had K Mill with aliens or shit or something. You're really good at it. Why would I lie about something like that? We had Pants Filler, more pants filling, duh. We had Baby Yoda's Escape Rod with Phantom Fruits and Clean Living. We had Masked Blogger with episodes on Art Bill's New Year's prediction, open lines, and Halloween Ghost to Go specials. That'd be great. Yes, it would. We had Kermit from Loveland, Vicious Monkeys and Tigers. We had Harley Warren with I Wish There Was a Way I Could Write My Own Answer on This Poll. And Unbeliever Carol, more time travelers and shit and things. We had Strictly in a Bowl with Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. I don't know if that's a sign-off name. Maybe that's not. Let's
I
talk
don't
about
know.
you
I
and
think
me.
it's just a come on.
Probably so. We had the Wombat Preservationist. I'd like to hear more about that Wizard of Oz guy. He was fascinating. We had Unbeliever Tyler, Bad Santaverse, and the Fudge Elves. Yes, I think we've got to find more about that verse in general. And we had the Blue Box UFO with, you know what? I think it'd be a great idea to get a bowl and fill it with your topic ideas, and you can pick it at random. That would be fun. We had
bad idea.
It isn't. We had God's 10-star general with, yes, it's about time those dope-smoking hippies returned. We had, and finally, Joe's B with me filling my pants. Oh, so I'm going to ask you, Drea Mora, who do you think won this week's poll?
I just had my gross heart touched by R.I.P. Tracker. May you rest in. I didn't catch shit heaven from First Time Boner, Long Time Yogurt.
I'm so glad he didn't say rest in pee, because that would have just been, it's too soon.
Wow,
it's way too soon for that.
Rob.
No, I'm glad he didn't say it, guys. I'm glad he didn't say that, okay?
And then you said it.
No, I never. I didn't say that. Come on.
So I guess we're all in agreement. Congratulations, First Time Boner, Long Time Yogurt.
No. Wait, hold on. Can I have a vote in this, please?
Oh, I thought you were voting.
No.
You were talking about it.
No, this one's got to be close, man. I feel like you're going to have to. This one's going to be a tight one. That last one about putting the choices in a bowl. Come on. That's gold.
Well, yeah, we should.
That's
we should
a golden bowl.
Do that. I agree.
That's a golden bowl level comment right there. I was really
golden
good.
Bowl.
All right, you guys both in agreement on this one? Is that what you guys want?
Who was
the first
that?
Winner?
Who
No, I mean, what's
Blue
your
Box.
vote, Russ? Like, what the
Blue
hell?
Box? Yeah.
I like it too. I'll say that. Yes, congratulations, Blue Box UFO. With you know what? I think it'd be a great idea to get a bowl and fill it with topic ideas so you could pick from at random. Congratulations, you just won the first of the year poll results. Yes, we did it. We've come to the end of the program. But before we go, Drea Mora, do you have anything you want to say or plug?
No, I've decided that I'm not going to plug my other podcast anymore, Spirits and Spirits, which you could totally find at Spirits and Spirits Pod on Instagram and at Ghost Drinkers on Twitter. But I'm not gonna plug that anymore. I'm gonna plug the Patreon now.
All right, good deal.
That was an anti-plug. Right. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
That's cool. It's very punk of you.
Thank you.
And you definitely won't hear Spirits and Spirits co-host Jack Sass on any of those episodes ever hanging out with us. It's not happening. What about you, Rob?
I say check out Baby Yoda's Escape Pod. There hasn't been a new episode in a little while, but there will be a couple of new ones soon. And besides that, yeah, check out our Patreon. We got an episode we just put up a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago or something. New episodes on there every month, which is cool. And yeah, you can also check out my Instagram at Rob Okey, at Okey Audio, if you want to see the other shows that I'm working on and kind of see what's going on in my world.
Keep tabs on him.
Very cool. And yeah, I just want to give a big shout out to Nicholas Aristavi, a big time supporter of the show. And I want to plug this other podcast called Spirits Spirits. Go check it out.
Oh,
the Unbelievers Podcast. Host today were Drea Mora and me, Rus Ryan. Our producer and soundboard engineer is Rob Okey. You can go get these really cool tarot cards at UnbelieversPodcast.com. You can join our Patreon by going to patreon.com. All right, we did that 10 times. You can follow the show on Twitter. You can follow the show on Twitter at Unbelievers Pod, Instagram at Unbelievers Podcast. Our Facebook group is the Unbelievable Podcast Network. And go check out our merch store at TeePublic. There is a link in the description. We've got all kind of cool stuff there. I want to say thank you so much to all those patrons. Christopher Balderrama, David Egelhoff, Pamsy, JT Sprankler, Vic Voss, Little BB, Dr. Ortega, Tyler Ventura, Adam Dvorak, Corrupted Mass, Michael Phillips, Weary Exile, Carol Valley, Manny MQ Ultra, CJP, Braden Hitt, Raymond Roel, Todd X, Christopher Panici, The Moon, That Judgy Moon, Mike Henry, Bryce Cronenberg Jr., Dawn Bright, Shannon Ferrigno, Tom O'Connell, Mark Braun, Donna Band, Jenna Stevens, Cat Chaos, Jason Kelly, and Mike, and Brian Ashton, Michael Amenta, Jackass, the Wombat Preservationist. Our music advisor is Pandora3373. Our official composer and theme song creator is Unbeliever A.A. Ron, a.k.a. Aaron Schilb. Go follow him on Instagram at the Aaron Schilb. Our official graphic designer and card maker who designed our logo is Raymond Rowell. Check out his work at P. Raven Creative on Twitter and Project Raven Creative on Instagram. Our official Unbeliever without a title is Nicholas Aristavi.
Yes.
Gotta get a title for him.
Shout outs to Nicholas Aristavi, man. This guy is our
Big
VIP right now. Love this guy.
Our official Hawaii paranormal investigator is Green Finhawk. Our official resident Sagittarius is Kozanton. Our official madman is Unbeliever Adam. Our official Mothman enthusiast is Michael Shields. Our official Unbelievers MUFON Inside Man is Chris De Moraes. Our official Unbeliever peacefully eating a hamburger is Michelle Durham. Our official Unbelievers time traveler is Taylor Nelson. Our official ghost hunter is Amelia Child, the Ghost Hunting in New England, whose new season is coming out soon. Go check out new episodes of Ghost Hunting in New England coming out soon, and check out Hubie Halloween on Netflix. Our official guardian of that bench is at Kraken Stacker. Our official alien bopper is Nunchuck Bob. And this week's Unbeliever Focus is TMC4 on Instagram, who I reached out to while I was preparing for this episode. But when I told them what the topic was, I think I made him a little angry because all he did was scream,
Crop circles, crap circles. That's what I say.
All right, good night, Willy Willy.
Discontinue! Discontinue!